Do you have any personal favorite wild plants to forage and why?
Oh, totally, absolutely, I do. I have plants that I go fiendish for every year. Um, Probably my two of my favorite plants are hawthorn and either miner's lettuce or chickweed. I think
Mm.
both of them are so special to me because they really remind me of seasonality. And I love how they feel in my body. I love seeing them. Hawthorn, the fruit starts to develop in the early fall and matures in late fall, early winter. It's one of my favorite seasons. It feels so good to know that we're dipping into this cold incubator time of the year. I just love how hawthorn feels. There's a native hawthorn and there's also a lot of ornamental hawthorns that people have planted they're everywhere. They're all throughout Oakland. Once you start to identify what the trees look like when they're in flower, it becomes really easy to spot them come come seed time because you're remembering where does this plant where is this plant growing? Hawthorn is a cardiovascular tonic and it feels so good in the heart. It's strengthening for the heart. It amplifies the torus field of the heart. It helps us really live through our heart and attune to our feelings, especially, and it helps the heart feel good. It's not just feeling more of whatever you're feeling. It's helping the heart to feel warm and cozy and just amazing. There's a variety that grows in Oakland, Crataegus laevigata. It has these beautiful pink flowers. They're tiny. They look like miniature roses. And you can eat or make medicine with the flowers, the leaves, and the fruit. The leaves, sorry, the flowers start to come out in like springtime, late springtime. And I've noticed the strongest effect with the flesh of the fruit. Um, Not as strong with the dried fruit made into a tea. So I like to harvest a lot of the fruit and then take the seeds out and dry that and then save that for my winter into spring and hopefully into summer if I've harvested enough. And I'll blend that with hot water in the mornings and make it into a smoothie. And it's so good. It feels amazing. That's one of my favorite plants. And the other, miner's lettuce, as I mentioned, some call it referred to as an Indian lettuce. It's a native plant and it grows all throughout this area, all throughout California, up into Northern California. It's pretty localized to California. I'm not sure if it grows up in Oregon. If it does, it'd be mostly in the southern parts. I haven't seen it up there though. Um, and it's an annual green, and they look like tiny lily pads when they're fully matured. They have quite an evolution of shape. They start looking like a blade of grass, and then a spade, and then I can't really do it super well with these fingers, but into a little heart, and then into a full disc. And it's edible at all the different stages. It's great raw, great made into a salad. Wonderful tossed in soup. I love to saute it with just do a dry saute and squeeze out the liquid. Use it in spanakopita. Um, yeah, it's wonderful. It's packed with vitamin C and it feels so bright. So in this time of year where it's a lot, it's time to be cozy and time to be inside as much as feels good. And um, it feels really, really wonderful to just feel. For me, it's like the new year starting. It's one of the first greens to come up, and it's just this gentle reminder that new life comes. And it's beautiful. It tastes delicious. It's almost a succulent. It's pretty thick in the leaf and it's really juicy. So it just has this great hydration feel. It's really good flavor. Yeah, it's a lovely plant and it's one that it grows in so many places that it has this feeling of welcoming because it'll grow in places that you've never been before. And then you find it and you're like, oh, I love this plant. This is one of my favorite. It tastes delicious. It's so good. It feels great when I eat it. And it's everywhere. And so it's kind of like this welcome, this feeling of homecoming and of belonging. And when we feel like we belong, we walk in a different way. And I think it's really important that we cultivate a sense of belonging because with belonging comes responsibility and comes care and tender or comes loving and comes the yearning to be better for a place and to take care of a place and that's really special. And I think that's one of my favorite things about wild plants. It's that they help us feel like we belong in a place where most of us don't have many, many decades of ancestry or centuries of ancestry. And so it helps us move into this place of stewardship, which is so special and so necessary. And yeah, and when we are fed by something, we fall in love. It's kind of like it's inevitable. So yeah, miner's lettuce is like, it's that feeling of curiosity and belonging in the winter, you know, in this coldest, darkest of times when it's really special. So those are probably two of my favorite plants. There's a lot, but those are the ones that I really, really look forward to every year.